Hey y'all, welcome back. In today's video, I show you how I easily create this round custom door hanger. For starters, I'm taking this 19.5-inch round pine board that I purchased from Hobby Lobby, and I'm using a sanding sponge and making sure to get it as smooth as possible. Once I have my board all nicely smooth and sanded, I'm going to take this acrylic paint by Apple Barrel that I got from Walmart. I actually mixed two different blues together to achieve this color. Here's what my board is looking like after 2 coats of that acrylic paint, making sure I got the size as well. Using my Cricut and Cricut Design Space, I created this stencil, and here I'm just making sure to get it centered and have the placement that I want. For my stencil, I'm using adhesive removable vinyl. Once I've decided on my desired placement, I remove a bit of the backing and slowly with my hand I am working it onto my board, making sure to get it as flat as possible. Once my stencil is attached to my board, I go back over it with my scraper tool and I make sure to go over each section to remove any air bubbles. Here's a look at my stencil once I've removed that transfer tape, and there is a bit of lifting, but I just go back over each section with my fingers, making sure to smooth it back down. This helps with bleeding in the painting process. I went ahead and applied some painter's tape to any exposed seams and around areas that I didn't want any paint getting. To go over my stencil, I'm using a foam roller and some regular house paint. You could use acrylic paint as well, but this is what I had. I am going over my stencil with very light strokes. You don't want to add any pressure on it, as that will cause a lot of bleeding. Going over it as lightly as possible will prevent that. Once that first coat of paint has dried, I go back over it again with the second, making sure to go over it ever so slightly and not add any pressure at all. You may want to give your second coat a minute to dry, but I was a bit impatient and I went ahead and peeled mine off immediately. When removing my stencil, I made sure to do it as careful as possible because my paint was still wet. But once I removed it all, I went back with my weeder tool and removed all those little pieces that was left, making sure to do it as careful as possible as well, because I did not want to gouge the wood underneath and remove any of that blue paint. Here's a look at what she's looking like so far. And if you look closely, you can see that I went back, added some fine lines using a gray paint to give it a shiplap look. I went ahead and applied 2 coats of sealer to the back of my sign. I made sure to do this before I added the hanger. And for the hanger, I'm just using this thick cord that I purchased from Walmart. I went ahead and marked out my placement and used my staple gun to staple it down. Before I sealed my wood sign, I made sure to allow my paint to dry for 24 hours. And then I'm taking the Hellman's Clear Gloss water-based outdoor sealer and I'm applying it with the regular paintbrush, but I also made sure to get those sides as well. You don't need much of this sealer, a little of this goes a long way. I applied it in thin layers, making sure to go along with the wood grain. I tried going over this with few passes as possible. For me, I noticed that if I went over it too many times, it started to get a bit sticky. Here is a look at my sign after 2 coats of sealer. I allowed my first coat to dry for 1 hour and then I applied the second. I applied my greenery of choice. I got these from the Dollar Tree, and I made a bow using 2 different ribbons I purchased from Hobby Lobby, and I attached it all using my staple gun. And here again is another overall look at how my sign turned out. This is a very fun and easy door hanger to make. I thank y'all for being here, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. If so, please give it a thumbs up. Please feel free to subscribe and turn on that post notification for all of my future uploads. And until my next video, bye y'all.